Hi foodies, welcome back to my channel. Now I'm going to split this in 4 parts. I'm going to be doing the Pepperex from scratch. That's the Pepperex Vindaloo, the Pepperex Korma, the Pepperex pizza, and if people want to, I will also do the chicken wings, but you'll have to put that in the comments so that I know that you want me to do that. Now, I'm going to show you all the spices that I'm going to be using. Now, not all of these are going to go into these, but they will go into the Vindaloo and the Korma and today's base. They're not necessarily going to the pizza because that's totally different, it's made different. So, the first thing you're going to need is rapeseed oil. Now, normally I don't use rapeseed oil, but for curries you're going to need it. So I got this rapeseed or Irish rapeseed oil, and it's high in omega-3 and high in mono unsaturated fat. So that's what we'll be going to use. Now most of these things I had that I did buy. Now this is something I already had, which was white wine vinegar. So you're going to need that. Now, as I said, most of my spices I already had. If I have anything bought new, I will let you know. Yeah. So, obviously you're going to need garlic. Now, I did buy these. I usually have garlic in, but I didn't have any left in. You're going to need ginger paste or fresh ginger. I'm using ginger paste because it's going to be a paste that you put in anyway. So that's the reason why I'm using that, and I already had that in. The spices that I did buy are cinnamon sticks, because I didn't have them in, and Kashmiri chili flakes. You're going to put that into a fine powder. Yeah, or you could even leave it whole, I suppose. Now, this is spices that I already had, but these are the ones you're going to need if you're going to attempt to do this yourselves. So you're going to need cumin, cardamom pods, curry powder, garam masala, bay leaves, fenugreek leaves, paprika. Now I'm using hot paprika, but paprika, turmeric, bird's eye chilies, star anise, and then coriander. So they're the ones I already all had in. Now, as I said, they won't be used all in this recipe, but they will be used in the making of the 3 recipes altogether. So they're the spices. Oops. Just put them there. Now, as you know, if you watched my live last night, I couldn't get Scotch bonnet, I couldn't get habanero. For some reason we can't get them over here. So I went for the closest I could do, and I had to have a sauce. Now this one I already had in, luckily. And it's habanero and ghost. And yeah, these bottles last over 2-3 years. And obviously the Pepperex. I'll show you that close so you do know it's Pepperex. And there's your rating. And it is, if you watched the live, you already know I have tasted this. But yeah, I'm going to be using that. And someone did ask what the shelf life was this. It's also 2 years. And I will try and link their website so that if you want to get this, you can look up their website. Now that's where I got it, so I'm going to be posting a website that I trust. And it's not sponsored or anything. I bought it with my own money. It was €25, but that was including shipping. So today you're going to need onions, So I'm going to be using 2 onions. I know I've got 3 there, but I'm going to be using 2 onions. And I'm going to be preparing these off camera because you don't need to see me doing that. But you're going to cut them up roughly. You're also going to need some carrots, and you're going to cut them up roughly. You're going to need red and green pepper, so half of it each, and you're going to cut them up roughly. You're going to need a couple of tomatoes. Again, they're going to be cut up into quarters. Am I forgetting anything? Yes. And you're going to need some cabbage, also cut up roughly. So I'm going to get all those prepped, and then I'll bring you back and we'll get on cooking with the base curry. So now I have all my ingredients prepped. So I'm going to bring you down and show you how we do this. So as you can see in my pan, now the recipe I did off a website, and I've adapted it to my needs. So it's all the same ingredients, I've just adapted it because the person was doing it in quarts and a humongous pan, and obviously I don't want to make too much. So the first thing you need to do is get your rapeseed oil. And you're going to need to put in about 3/4 of a cup. And we get this on Martine. Now, into that, we're going to add some salt. And then you're going to put your onions in. And as I said, they're just roughly chopped. Everything is roughly chopped. Give that a stir in. And then we're just going to add all the remaining vegetables, so your carrots, your peppers, your tomatoes, your cabbage. Oops. And then all we're going to do is top that with water. And we're going to bring that up to a simmer. So not quite to the top of the pan, obviously. And most of this will boil down and will reduce anyway. So it might look a lot, but it will reduce. You bring this to a simmer, and then you will turn it down low, and you will simmer it for roughly 45 minutes, checking the water as you go along. This is just the first bit. There'll be other stages to it. Now it is going to take time to do. You're not going to be able to do this in an hour or so, but you could do this on a Sunday, because once this is done, you're going to If you have a hand mixer, you can, a hand blender should I say, you can blend it at the end while it's still hot. I'm going to leave mine cool down because I'm going to have to do mine in a NutriBullet, and my NutriBullet, I can't use hot stuff. So obviously I'll let mine cool down and then I will jar it. But so far this is what we have to do. So we're just bringing this up to a simmer. Now you need to add more water as you go along. You're going to kind of have to eyeball that. You'll know anyway as you're doing it. There will be spices and stuff going in, but they are going in after this first initial process. So we'll just bring that up to a simmer. So when this is come up to a simmer, as I said, we'll turn it down and we'll cook it for roughly about 45 minutes. I don't know how long it'll take on this because this generally takes a lot less time to do. You're just looking for your vegetables to be softened, and obviously they're huge chunks, so they are going to take some time. And don't do them small. Don't think, oh well, I'll cut my vegetables small. Don't. So yeah, when this is into the second stage, we'll bring you back. Otherwise the video is going to be 8 hours long. So we've been doing that for 45 minutes and the vegetables are getting soft, and as you can see some of the water is reduced, which is what we're looking for. We'll just give this a quick mix. Now the next thing we're going to do is add our spices. So we're going to give one teaspoon. This is half a teaspoon, as you can see, of ginger. Three minced garlic, and then 1.5 teaspoons of each of the spices. So that's half. So that's the fenugreek, the same of paprika. Remember, I'm using half teaspoons, so you're putting 3 in. Same with coriander. Cumin. Garam masala. Oops. So just give that a mix in. We're going to cover that with just a little drop more water, not too much. Just to cover everything. And we're going to let that cook again. I'll put this on timer for half an hour. Back with your lid. So our sauce is practically done. So I'll give you a look. As you can see, the water's reduced a lot. Now when you mix this, or blend it should I say, it is going to be a little thick. So that's when you add more water, just to thin it out a bit to the consistency of, I say, a jar that you've bought, I suppose. Not too thick, not too runny. It depends on how you like your sauces. So now I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to let that go cold. Now obviously I've just turned that off. I'm going to let that go absolutely cold. When it's cold, I will blitz it up in my Nutra, and I'll show you what the consistency should look like. As I said, it looks a bit thick at the moment because obviously the water's reduced, but we can add more water to that, and I will put it in a jar. Now, not a brilliant way of doing it, but like I did a lasagna for son recently, so I kept the jar. I actually kept two and I can't find the other one, and this is what we're going to jar it with. Oh, we're going to put it in. So any old jars will do. You don't have to go out and buy any. If you've had sauces and you've washed them out and you've kept the jars, use them. If you have any mason jars, use that. Even sauce bottle jars, you know, the ones that you can get the bigger sauces in. I'm not talking, well, you could use it in tomato sauce bottle if it's not a squeezy one. But yeah, so when this is cooled down and blitzed it, I'll bring you back to show you the end product. Obviously I'm not going to taste test it because this will go into my bases. This is just a general base curry sauce for any other curries you want to do, whether it's masala, vindaloo, korma, any sauces, curries that you can think of. This will be your base. So if you do a big batch, you can put it in an ice cube tray and do it in like little cubes, so that you can even add it into your stews. As winter's coming up, it'd be great to warm your stews up without having to add all the spices and stuff. You've already got it there. So yeah, until then, I'll bring you back then. So now I've blitzed my sauce up, so I'm going to bring it down because I've now put it into one of my jugs, and I've done my jar. So yeah, so as you can see, that's my curry sauce done, and that's the consistency you're kind of looking for. If you want to do it a little bit thicker or a little bit thinner, then that's up to you. So before I do transfer it, I'm going to have a little that is creamy. There's a lot of nice taste in there. The texture is really nice. It's creamy. That will bring so much to your curries. Now, if you remember, I did do the same ingredients as the website. I just did it in different quantities because obviously I'm not making huge, but I have nowhere to put it. I don't have a chest freezer. I've got a freezer that's a normal standing small fridge freezer, and the fridge is bigger than the freezer. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to bottle this up. And I'm just going to leave a little bit on the top. and that's your one full jar, and there's more there. So I'm going to just get one of those microwavable bowls that I've already washed, and I want to pour it in there. There we go. And that's another full bowl. So that's quite a lot. Now, as I said, the jar in your fridge for 3 days. If you're doing it like this in a container, or if you're doing it in ice cubes, they'll last up to 3 months. So, and that's quite a quantity considering the pan I was doing it. It's a big pan, but not a big pan. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this one, please give it a like, share, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. I will put this in a playlist, and I will title the playlist Pepper X. So although this doesn't have Pepper X in, it's your base for your Pepper X, if you get what I mean. So it will go into that category. So yeah, until next video, thank you for watching and goodbye.